Hello.
Okay. Well, my first question is, how did you find me?
Online, honestly, yeah, I was looking at a lot of alternative methods for my daughter, and I found you.
And what was it that resonated with you, with me?
Um, Mostly that, I mean, there was a few things. First, I noticed you didn't wear glasses. So I thought that was, or in at least most of your videos, so I thought that was already
Yeah.
something that was different. Um, yeah, you just had alternatives, and even the way you talk about some people like trying to, I think you had mentioned that prescriptions can, be like a drug and you can wean off of it.
Yes.
And I really like that idea because I think sometimes we jump a little bit too quick to glasses. And
Okay.
sometimes, yeah, they just need more and more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what I read about your history is that in your daughter, you first noticed the eye turning at about 10 months.
Yeah.
Is that right? And when did you actually either go to your pediatrician or ophthalmologist to have it checked out?
Yeah. So I think it was at like her 1 year appointment that the doctor, um, I had mentioned it, and then he had said to go to an ophthalmologist. We went there. It was so interesting. Um, she had said that she didn't notice any eye turn, which is fine because it doesn't happen that often.
Hmm.
So she didn't notice it in the appointment. So she said that she's like, I don't know, she just said there's nothing to do with it. But then she said that um, my daughter was farsighted and then she just wanted to put glasses on. For me, at 10 months old, I was just like, or a year, I guess, at that point, it just felt like, oof, a 1 year old, like, she can't tell me if it's too much if she can't see. If we put glasses on her, it just felt like it just didn't feel right for me. Uh,
Sure. Sure. It didn't land
so
right.
then we've been doing a lot of just waiting. I've been, yeah, it's interesting when it's summertime and we're outside, it hardly ever happens.
Hmm.
And now yeah, it's getting to fall, it's getting darker earlier.
Hmm.
We notice it more. In the darkness, it is a lot worse. If the room isn't well lit and it's quite dark, it'll be a lot worse. But if we're outside, we'll go camping for like a week in the
Yeah.
summer, and it will not happen while we're camping at
Okay.
all. Yeah.
So did you get the glasses prescription filled, or did you just say, no, we're not doing the glasses now?
No, yeah, I didn't get it filled or anything. I was just, yeah,
Okay.
a bit taken aback, I guess.
Was there any pressure to do eye muscle surgery?
No, um, no.
Oh,
Yeah, I know when I Google a lot of times people are saying that that is something to do with it. Also kind of freaked me out a bit.
mhm.
Um, yeah, the ophthalmologist I ended up going to actually was one that she did seem to do more vision therapy and stuff like that. But
Good.
um, yeah,
Hmm.
so she didn't jump on that.
Good. That was a good choice. And what city are you in?
I'm in Edmonton, Alberta.
Okay. All right.
Hmm.
I used to teach a lot of workshops in Vancouver,
Okay.
and a lot to the osteopaths and occupational therapists. This was
Hmm.
pre-COVID. I haven't really been back
Hmm.
since, but I do have a
Hmm.
good connection. Okay.
Okay.
So what you're looking for is what? What would be your ideal goals and objectives today?
Well, it's actually that you speak on occupational therapy. I worked as an occupational and physical therapy assistant.
Okay.
So I kind of have a background a bit, and I guess I just felt like there was something we could do exercise wise,
Hmm.
um, alternatively to just jumping on glasses. And I know there's a lot of, people start doing patches and the surgery. So I just felt like there was some sort of alternative, whether it be exercises or um, food or supplementing or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just speak for a minute about kind of the philosophy that I learned a long time ago, over 40 years ago,
Mhm.
which is number one, there is a big difference between eyesight, reading the eye chart, that's your eyeballs, and vision
Mhm.
is how the eye and the brain and the body work together.
Mhm.
Vision is a learned skill. It's how we track, focus, and coordinate our eyes together. That's kind of the input side of vision. And then we have the processing in the brain, and then we have output. And there are certain developmental experiences that children go through in developing their sensory motor systems. And one of the first experiences is going through the learning curve of something called the primitive survival reflexes.
Okay.
Have you heard of the primitive survival reflexes?
I have heard a little bit of it. I don't know much. I never did anything in occupational therapy with
Okay.
that. Mhm.
So the primitive survival reflexes are very early in utero movement patterns that the fetus makes. And the purpose of these primitive reflexes, one of the functions is it helps the newborn when they come out of the birth canal or they're birthed uh,
Mhm.
to adjust to the new kind of environment being out of the womb, the safety of that. And there's several primitive reflexes that are controlled by the brainstem, the reptilian brain, which is our survival brain. Now, these primitive reflexes are important for infants and toddlers to go through in their movement explorations because they are the foundational movement patterns that once they're integrated, then the infant can then move more to the higher centers of the brain, the upstairs brain, so to speak, like the cerebellum. And then eventually, as they get into school, the prefrontal cortex. They call that executive function. So,
Sorry, I just have to move. I just have to. My daughter's just playing and she has to go to the potty, so I'm just gonna bring her there.
okay,
Sorry.
let me know when you're ready.
Ja. Okay, Ivy, geh mal auf Klo. Ich bin auf die Termin. Geh mal auf Klo, bitte. Und dann kannst du wieder ins nächste Mal, ja? Okay, should be
Okay.
good.
All right. So the primitive reflexes help us develop our gross motor and fine motor skills. The
Mhm.
other part of that fine motor. The other part of the movement piece is the vestibular connection to the eyes. There's actually something called the vestibular ocular reflex, which has to do with um, integrating the inner ear, which is our proprioceptive um,
Under, like,
orientation, and our vision, our peripheral vision. Okay, so what does all this have to do with the eye turn? When the eye is turning, the brain is shutting off the eye. That's kind of the mechanism. And the other choice would be double vision. Like it'd be
mhm.
interesting to ask her in a stress-free moment, do you ever see two of things?
I
Especially,
have asked her that.
yeah.
Um, I don't know if she can comprehend that. She has said no.
Okay.
Um,
Well, that's okay. Uh,
yeah,
like mommy, it's more than one. I'm seeing more things, but anyway,
yeah,
doesn't matter.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you see the left eye turning in, that means that she's suppressing that eye. The brain is it goes offline, so to speak. And there can be an alternating or it can be on one side.
Yeah, sorry, I noticed with her for the most part, like when it happens, it's the
Mhm.
left eye. Every once in a while, the right one will turn.
Okay.
Um, and
So,
that's why another reason why I'm like, I feel like patches wouldn't be a good idea because it's just not making it work together. Like,
well, so with patching, first of all, children have no context on why they're being patched. It becomes like a
mm-hmm,
punishment. And to patch an
mm-hmm,
eye for long periods of time doesn't work. It actually creates more trauma and stress to do that. It's a very mechanical symptom management approach that it has nothing to do with learning how to use your eyes together because you have to do
mm-hmm,
it in the context of your brain and body, especially as a child. It means nothing to try to isolate the eye or force the eye or whatever you're doing.
mm-hmm,
So, strabismus, which is what the eye turn is,
mm-hmm,
means that there's a lack of integration, a lack of connection and coordination, not only in the eyes, but in the entire person's brain and body. So we see it in the eyes, but it's a symptom or a signal that there's a lack of overall global integration. It
mm-hmm,
also was a signal that somewhere along the line, the primitive reflexes did not get fully integrated into the brain.
mm-hmm,
So, where you start in the re-education process is reintroducing the primitive reflexes as a movement exploration, a movement exercise. We couple that with doing one primitive reflex and then working with helping the child learn how to use both sides of the body and the eyes in an integrated fashion. Like we actually introduce opportunities to do that. And over time, because children especially have a level of neuroplasticity, you can retrain, reprogram, create new pathways in the brain that will influence the eyes to be more integrated. So
mm-hmm,
the prescribed playful type activities that you would introduce to encourage and nurture the opportunity of using the eyes, the brain, and the body in a more unified, integrated way. And so what I want to give you today is the first step in some exercises that will get both eyes working together.
mm-hmm. Okay.
So do you have any questions about what I've said up to now? Or do you need me to
No,
elaborate more?
no, I think no, I think I get it. I think I do notice that with her, just the lack of coordination you said, even
Uh-huh.
in her running,
Yeah.
is we call her floppy and hoppy. Like it's very doesn't seem well coordinated.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
But no, that sounds good.
I work with a lot of occupational therapists, physical therapists, um,
Hmm.
and here's what my takeaway is. My takeaway is
Hmm.
that the exercises and activities I'm going to introduce to you will help get the eyes back online to work with the body. So, in other words, we're leading with the vision
Hmm.
to move the body through space, spatial
Hmm.
processing, spatial IQ, depth perception, because our eyes are really our GPS system, and we make decisions based on how we see and move our body through the world based on that, especially as a child. Okay,
Hmm.
so this is kind of like a school for vision, and
Hmm.
again, we've talked about the distinction between eyeballs and eyesight and vision. If we nurture the vision, the eyes will straighten organically and you're there. Now, There are a couple of caveats. Number one, the eyes are a signaling system to you. If somebody is stressed or tired or getting sick, you will see the eye turning. It's just a signal.
Hmm.
And that is a timeout. It means there's depletion. You might need to support the nervous system more. In other words, there needs to be some harvesting of energy to replenish the depletion. That's all it means.
Okay.
Okay. It's a signal. Sick, tired,
Mm-hmm.
um, stressed. It's like, okay, too much. We've got to create some rest.
Because
That's,
I do notice it comes in waves. Like there'll sometimes
yeah,
be a few weeks where I see almost nothing and it's
right.
great. And
Yeah.
then we'll have a week of it seems really bad.
Yeah.
I always try to wonder what the correlation is. I like
There are
and
many
sometimes when she
levels.
is sick,
There are
for
many
sure.
levels. There's a nutritional level, which we'll get
Mm-hmm.
to. There's an energetic level. Um, there's a physical level. So
Mm-hmm.
many different factors. We as human beings are impacted by the world and others, and we get overwhelmed. And so then we have to shut down. We have to,
Mm-hmm.
withdraw. And when the eye turns in, there's a shutdown. It's a suppression. It's like I'm overwhelmed. I can't do it all. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to speak about, I'm also going to send you some handouts. And
Mm-hmm.
since you've worked in some degree in occupational therapy,
Mm-hmm.
there's some key elements here. The first element is you want to be able to do something every day as a
Mm-hmm.
as a stimulation for learning and developing.
Mm-hmm.
And the more time you put into it, the faster the results. Now,
Mm-hmm.
you can break up the periods of when you introduce these experiences. You don't have to do them all at once. And you're probably going to be met with some resistance. That's
Mm-hmm.
the deal. And so
Yeah.
it's an art to either introducing it in another way or maybe
Mm-hmm.
bypass it for now. Okay.
Mhm. I feel like that's something I've still dealt with a lot working with.
Okay.
I worked a lot with seniors, a little bit with children, but I
Okay.
think I'm good at that because I know there's always some
Yeah,
people are always
exactly.
like, there's resistance. So to be
Whenever I do,
creative.
whenever I do a session with a child and they come to the session, I'm reading them to see, okay, where are we starting? Where are they going to buy in? What
Mm-hmm.
what I have several avenues here, but if I'm too demonstrative in
Mm-hmm.
my invitation, sometimes they shut off until they
Yeah.
know me. Or the other side of it is, as a parent, there's that dynamic as well. So
Mm-hmm.
um, that's just all part of the mix. And the thing is that the exercises or activities, the goal is not to do them perfect. The goal is to just introduce them in a repatterning
Out
way.
there, Ivy, Liza.
And
Sorry.
there are many different ways to offer it, but there is not like an exact, I've got to do like I was
Mm-hmm.
at the gym and the trainer's like a
Mm-hmm.
lat pull. You got to do it exactly or you don't get the benefits. This isn't
Mm-hmm.
like that. We're introducing experiences in the development so that the brain can go, oh, I haven't really done that before. Let me explore it as a discovery.
Mm-hmm.
So we start off with the first primitive reflex called the Moro reflex. And this is
Mm-hmm.
the startle reflex.
Mm-hmm.
And the integration of the Moro reflex is called the starfish. And
Mm-hmm.
what you're going to learn about this reflex is that it is the global movement that eventually is going to cue and signal the eyes, because the way it's done is the person is basically lying on their back, their head is on a pillow, and their arms are spread out and their legs are spread out, and they come into the midline or middle with their
Mm-hmm.
arms and their legs, where their right arm is over their left arm and their right leg is over their left leg, and they're coming into midline. So there's a meeting in the middle across.
Mm-hmm.
And we uncross and then we do it again, but now the left is over the right. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's kind of like an out in from peripheral to central. And one of the things that's missing in the visual coordination right now is being able to have both eyes go into a divergence. The left eye wants to come into convergence by itself.
Mm-hmm.
And this is saying, can I converge with both sides of my body into my middle? And can I diverge with my limbs?
Mm-hmm.
And the third part of it is moving my head while I'm doing it. Because in the Moro reflex, basically the infant is going like this. They're sitting, or
Mm-hmm.
that's the Moro starfish. Okay, so that trips the or stimulates the vestibular system. When the eye turns in, the vestibular system is underworking. And so um, in this Moro reflex integration, the starfish is moving out, moving in, right over left, then moving out, left over right. We do 5 on each
Mm-hmm.
side. Now, it might
Mm-hmm.
be that you demo it for her. You say, hey, let's do it together.
Mm-hmm.
Another way to do it would be her back is to your front and you're moving her arms and her head forward and backward
Mm, okay.
like you're cupping her. So
Yeah.
that's another way. It's the startle reflex. It's tied in with something called the fear paralysis reflex. And it is fundamentally, when it's not integrated, can be one of the causes of strabismus and
Mm.
visual tracking.
I have
So
a question
go
with
ahead.
that. So I know that swaddles, like, is that a do would you like do you recommend swaddling children, or do you think that affects the moral reflex?
Well, have you done swaddling?
I did, yeah, I did do swaddling with her, and I wonder if that, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's helpful or not.
Um, Usually the moral reflex, the lack of integration happens somewhere either in utero or
Mm, okay.
um, but snuggly and wrapping a baby, um,
Mm-hmm.
that I think that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
it, it would be more about I didn't quite get this. Was there anything happening in the pregnancy or the birth process that was out of the norm?
Yes. So when I was pregnant with her, I struggled with insomnia.
Okay.
And I sometimes wonder, I'm like, is that something that really, because it was lasted almost the entire pregnancy. Um, I ended up getting completely healed of it, which was absolutely amazing. Um, but that was a long time in the pregnancy. And there was a lot of obviously there's a lot of stress when I'm laying in bed and can't sleep. Like I would get very anxious. And so I wonder if that caused a lot of strain on her in utero.
Well, some of the researchers I've worked with have said that when there's a direct disruption in sleep in utero,
Hmm.
that sometimes can affect sensory motor patterning,
Mm, I see.
and
Yeah.
um, it help. What it does is it confuses visual spatial uh, learning. Um,
Hmm.
and so it kind of depends on the neurotransmitters that, we've got dopamine, acetylcholine, serotonin. GABA. And so sometimes, um, it can affect the sensory motor development. I would say the other thing is how much activity and movement you did during pregnancy. And
Mm-hmm.
also, what was the actual birth process? How long
Mm-hmm.
were you in labor? Was it a normal birth? Was there any distress? Did you have to do, Pitocin or anything like that? What happened at that juncture?
With hers, actually, it was an absolutely amazing birth. It was,
Great.
I didn't even actually know I was in labor. I just felt my
Wow.
stomach tightening. And then I was like, I should probably let my midwife know. And then I got to the birth center. I was 8 centimeters. So,
Mhm.
um, and
Okay,
she was very quick too. So,
great.
which I wonder maybe, yeah.
Well, better that way than having a super long labor and
Yes.
having
Yeah.
footsteps and all that. And you had a
Yeah.
midwife, which is really great. So
Yeah.
what that says to me is that probably just doing some of these exercises, like I have another family that I've been working
Mhm.
with literally within 2 weeks. They came for their second appointment, and the mom is already saying, wow, her handwriting is better. She's reading
Mhm.
better. Emotionally, she's calmer. So, I mean, it's a pretty, and I don't want to make guarantees or say this is
Mhm.
going to happen, but I've seen it
Mhm.
over and over again. Um,
Mhm.
there is something in maybe it was postnatally around
Mhm.
the primitive reflexes. So like another thing would be, first of all, were vaccinations administered? How many did you get at once? Was
We
that
didn't have any. The only thing we did have was she did get vitamin K.
okay? That's
But
fine.
other than that, there was nothing else.
What was how long did she stay in her crawling stage?
So she crawled at 10 months and crawled for about 4 or 5 months. So she was
Okay,
about 14, 15 months.
it's good.
Yeah.
So, there's a
Yeah.
lot of really positive things here. There is
Yeah.
a lot of obstacles. And
Yeah.
it could be one of the reasons why it's not a constant full-time
Yeah.
eye turn.
Yeah.
We just may need to nurture. So we'll do the moral reflex. And then the second
Hmm.
thing would be to work with her balance. And there's a couple
Hmm.
ways to work with balance. You can do a static balance where you guys play a yoga game and can she balance on one foot? And we usually have them looking at like a doorknob or a target. And can they balance on each foot, say for 20 to 30 seconds? And then can they balance with their eyes closed? Now
Hmm.
this is the vestibular system. So on that one, maybe it's a heel to toe balance with eyes closed. Like
Hmm.
both feet are involved. But
Yeah.
working with the static balance and then the active balance would be, say, either walking on a 2x4, forwards,
Hmm.
backwards, or a piece of tape or a curb, like having her work with her balance on some kind of a balance beam or something like that to really get the visual vestibular integrated into her movement and her body. So
Hmm.
working either with static balance or dynamic balance would be the next phase. Okay.
Okay.
Now, um, you could also do some vestibular stimulating things if you have like either a physio ball and put her belly
Hmm.
on the ball and just roll her from, side to side. We'll do this sometimes with the kids as the beginning of the session to calm their nervous system. But sometimes stimulating the vestibular is a way to just immediately straighten the eyes because it reconnects that vestibular visual kind of interplay that's necessary. Sometimes when the
Hmm.
eye turns in, the vestibular system may not be connecting. She may not be getting information there.
Okay.
So, on her back, on her side, in other words, some kind of spinning or There's actually in occupational therapy, there's something called the astronaut training. And in that,
Okay.
she's sitting in a chair and you're very slowly, while she's in the chair, you're rotating the chair around in a circle, like a clockwise or counterclockwise, with eyes open and eyes closed. So
Okay.
just thinking about primitive reflex, balance, and vestibular. And then the third piece to this is having her do some bilateral movements with an obstacle course in place.
Mm,
Now, the reason why we put the obstacle course in is that we want to force her into visually guiding her body through the world. I don't want her just to move. I want her to have to look and move. Now, when you say an obstacle course, it could be in your living room or your den. You put a couple of
mm-hmm.
chairs or chairs and pillows or, you know, and the prescribed movement would be either bear walk in a cross patterning,
Mm-hmm.
crawling, walking, hopping, galloping. And the most critical point to this is wherever she's motoring forwards, you have her do the obstacle course moving backwards.
Okay.
So when kids have a crossed eye going in, they have no concept of back body. Everything is
Mm,
thrusting forward. And when you start saying, okay, I've got to look behind me, and you have an obstacle course, and I've also got to have a bilateral component to it, you're going to find over a few weeks that she's going to open up a 360 part of her vision instead of right
mm-hmm.
now when the left eye turns in, there's very little access beyond like 30 degrees ahead. So
Mm-hmm.
using the body and the movement going backwards and developing backspace to help her open her eyes into a more divergent experience. Just by just by working with movement, it helps um, tell the eyes, oh, I can actually spread my vision out so that I'm aiming in a divergent way. So
Mm-hmm.
any kind of bilateral movement and a obstacle course forwards and backwards, hopping, skipping may be a little premature, but hopping,
Mm-hmm.
bear walk, galloping, walking, but you want to really emphasize right arm, left leg, left arm, right leg,
Okay.
because when you start developing bilateral movements, that tells the brain to work in an infinity sign. That's like, oh, both sides
Mm-hmm.
are being integrated simultaneously. That's going to tell the eyes to say, oh, my eyes need, without doing eye exercises and eye push-ups or whatever, you know, we're not there yet. So that's way too advanced.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now you could do it with a bike, an obstacle course, but we want the
Mm-hmm.
biking slow. We don't want it
Okay.
one speed. You could do it with a soccer ball. You could do it with a basketball. Okay. So now this brings us to more specific eye movement exercises. So the first one that's very non-demanding and threatening is you both get a flashlight. Do this in bed. You're both looking up at the ceiling. You move your flashlight. So let's say your daughter is sitting, laying down to your left. I'd be
Mm-hmm.
working a lot with flashlight tag, having her move that flight way out so her left eye has got to look to the left, to the peripheral, up, down. So again, my light is on the ceiling. I'm on my back, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
opening up. Can you touch my light? You know what I'm saying? Out to the left, up
Mm-hmm.
to the left. Now, you can go to a pharmacy, you can play the pirate game. where you patch an eye, maybe you both get a patch, and you just do the flashlight tag with one eye. But here's the
Mm-hmm.
thing, you're not just going to work with patching the right eye. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
equal opportunity. If you do a minute with patching the right eye, you do a minute patching the left eye in this flashlight game
Yeah.
because it's about what happens is when you do short-term patching in an active way,
Mm-hmm.
you take the patch off. The brain's like, oh, I've got two eyes now. Let me see if I can
Mm-hmm.
merge them or fuse them. So a lot of kids that I've worked with will do that kind of short patching, and then I'll put them on
Mm-hmm.
the machine, and they immediately get 3D vision just by
Oh,
working
wow.
with each eye, because we're just waking up. We're just
Yes, and
waking.
that makes sense to me to do it in that sort of way. You
That's the
know, both of
context.
them being patched, both of them
Exactly.
working.
Yes. And so that's one tracking exercise. Another tracking exercise would be something called a Marsden ball. I'm going to be sending you some directions, but
Okay.
visualize this. You get a rubber ball and you get a metal hanger hook, or you get some kind of hook that you can screw into the rubber ball. Okay, so now you got a hook in the ball. You tie a string to the hook and you hang it on the ceiling. It could be in your garage, it could be even outside by a tree. In other words, you want a swinging rubber ball the size of like a baseball.
Yeah.
She stands in front of the ball and I have the ball lower than her face, maybe like by her solar plexus. And I just say, can you hit it with your right hand 5 times straight out? Can you hit it with your left hand? Can you do an alternating? Can you play Simon Says? So she's hitting the ball and you go, okay, Ivy, right hand, touch your head once, go back to hitting
Mm-hmm.
the ball. Left hand, touch your right knee. She's going to learn different parts of her body. Right hand,
Mm-hmm.
touch your left hip. So while she's hitting the ball, you're giving her some visual thinking something. Now,
Mm-hmm.
you can also you can also swing the ball from side to side with the eye patch and have her put the flashlight on the swinging ball. So
Mm-hmm.
now you're working with eye hand. She can do this standing, sitting. You can even have her lie under the
Mm-hmm.
ball up and see if she can put the light on the ball while it's swinging from left to right and right to left. Have her use her left hand or right hand, equal opportunity on the patch. So that's going to help her get comfortable with eye hand, eye aiming, eye tracking. Because in
Mm-hmm.
strabismus, what's happened is the brain is disconnected from directing the eye muscles where they should be directed. It's just I haven't learned to aim yet. I don't know how to aim my left eye, so I just move it in. That's my default. So once you
Yeah.
start working with tracking and light ball, flashlight, eye patch, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. She is, I will say she's really good at if we tell her to make sure she's using both her eyes, she can
Yep.
fix it.
Okay.
Is that something that is okay to continue doing?
As long as it's done with no shame
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
no like there's something wrong with her.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So you need to keep
Mm-hmm.
those energies out of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's done with love and just say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
in a game,
Correction.
can you move your eyes around?
Yeah.
So it's a
Yeah.
discovery, it's an inquiry, but there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing on it around shame
Mm-hmm.
or something
Mm-hmm.
is wrong
Mm-hmm.
or
Okay.
like your
Punishment or yeah.
punishment or like,
Yeah.
oh, oh goodness, your eye is turning in again. Can you
Yeah.
please?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to keep all that out
Yeah.
of it. This is a
Yeah.
very sensitive time
Mm-hmm.
because there's a difference here in her versus, say, somebody else who's her age that's not dealing with
Mm-hmm.
the eye turn,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it is sensitive. It
Yes, for sure.
hurts
And I think
pretty
that's
bad.
another reason why we um or
Yeah.
really wanting to get on it
Yeah,
is
exactly. You
I've
want to
I've
get,
noticed just other kids too
yep,
making
absolutely.
notices, and then I'm just like, I don't want that.
Right.
That's hard.
That
Yeah.
stigma. Right.
Yeah.
And then you get involved in the school nurse and you get into the school and their parents and there's the pressure and everything like that.
Thankfully we're homeschooling, so
Yeah.
it's
So, you incorporate
but
this vision curriculum into your
yeah,
homeschooling, it's going to be
for sure.
fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really it's a perfect world. I mean, man, you couldn't ask for a better environment than what you're doing
Mhm.
because, like I said, this is a school for vision. We're
Yes, exactly. And I'm already like prepared of how to do it, how I'm gonna
exactly,
work it into our day and make it a fun exercise and fun break
exactly,
from
exactly.
schooling. Yeah.
Now, I'd like you to do the primitive reflex, the Moro, for at
Mm-hmm.
least 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Two
So
weeks,
every
you said?
day, 2 weeks. So
Mm-hmm.
that's an everyday thing that you're doing the Moro start.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you're going to substitute that. You're going to stop that one, and you're going to do the second reflex called the tonic labyrinth reflex.
Okay. Can I just
Okay, so I'll describe it, but I'll send you a handout.
okay.
She lies on her belly,
Mm-hmm.
her legs are straight. She takes her thumbs and puts them on her nose, like this.
Can you do that, Ivy?
Well,
Turn it down there?
let's not do this now. Let's
No,
do
okay.
it. Okay.
I'm gonna be
So
playing
then
later, okay?
what's happening, she's going to lift her upper body off the ground. So her
Mm-hmm.
elbows, her upper torso. And she turns her head to the right. She pushes the right thumb out and she's looking at the right thumb. Then she brings
Mm-hmm.
it back in. She turns her head to the left, pushes the left thumb out, but she's looking at the thumb, brings it back, and then she can put her body down on the ground. Okay, like the
Mm-hmm.
upper part. Then she does it 2 more times, 2 more cycles. One of the things to watch for is the tendency to bend the legs.
Mm-hmm.
She bends the legs, then you want to say, can you push your legs into the ground? The second
Mm-hmm.
thing is it might be hard for her to lift her head, neck, and upper torso off the body, off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
If she
Yeah.
can't do that, she can do it on the ground. It's better if she lifts up. That reflex is going to really help midline eye-hand coordination. It's like the baby, you give her a rattle, she's out here with it, and then she brings it into her mouth. There's
Mm-hmm.
that kind of in and out. And again, what we want to include is, can I go out with my eye as well as come in? Right now I go in, that's my default. But I want you to be able
Mm-hmm.
to move that eye out to your ear and then back in so that I've got both range, but in the range of it. So you substitute the Moro for the tonic labyrinth reflex, and you can continue with these other exercises. Um, and I'm going to give you one cognitive exercise that's really fun. And
Mm-hmm.
so you get it from this website. I don't know about in Canada, but you can at least look at it. Maybe Amazon
Mm-hmm.
Canada. I don't know. It's called learningresources.com. And you're going to look for a set of puzzles called parquetry.
Okay.
Parquetry. It's a set puzzle with triangles, squares, and triangles, squares, and diamonds.
Okay.
It's going to be a set of cards that are going to come with that, which are designs. Okay, so every day while she's doing her motor work, at the end or at the beginning, have her do some block designs.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's a copying from vertical to horizontal. If that's too hard, she can make it right on top. But the
Mm-hmm.
parquetry is going to help her spatial reasoning using the blocks.
Hmm.
So it's using more of the frontal brain, prefrontal cortex, and it'll be a nice kind of balancing with all the motor stuff she's doing.
Hmm.
So that would be one add-on. And again, you can just mix and match the exercises. And I would say my recommendation would be in 4 to 6 to 8 weeks, we should have a second session.
Hmm.
During that session, there'll be a recap of what's worked, what hasn't, how's she doing, and then we can move on to some of the more advanced primitive reflexes, gross motor, fine motor, perceptual stuff, and then she would be ready for that next level, that next layer.
Hmm.
But you will see some behavioral things, some tendencies of preferences, because you're adding some new stimulation to the brain eye body that's going to interfere with the default of the left eye turning in, which actually is very positive.
Okay.
It takes a lot of energy to suppress the eye,
Yeah.
to turn away, basically turning away from life.
Hmm.
So have you got it?
Leise spielen. Leise spielen.
Questions?
Um, Not really. That sounds great.
Yep. It's
Sounds
really good.
doable.
It's um it's been proven many, many, many
Yeah.
times. Okay. Two other things before we go. Number
Hmm.
one, if you know a pediatric craniosacral therapist,
Oh, yeah.
that can be helpful in reducing strabismus. I know
Okay.
firsthand because many years ago I went as an eye doctor, I went back to massage school and I became a craniosacral therapist. And I do craniosacral on these kids, and sometimes it really releases the strabismus. So
Okay.
worth to pursue.
I have heard some other moms talk about that had worked well.
It works.
Um, yeah.
So that gives you another idea.
Hmm.
All right. Last, what is the color of Ivy's eyes?
They're a blue, more of
Yeah.
a darker
Okay. So that's
grayish blue.
what I saw. Okay. So
Yeah.
there's a couple of things here from an iridology standpoint. The iris
Hmm.
maps the body. And with that color of eyes, there's a couple of things you want to pay attention to. We call them nurture
Okay.
points. Good lymph movement, possible tendency towards inflammation.
Okay.
So watching the gluten, dairy, sugar formula,
Hmm.
not good. And liver health. Liver rules the
What
eye.
was that?
Liver health.
The liver. Okay.
Liver rules the eyes in Chinese medicine.
Okay.
Now, in that one, we're not going to do a liver cleanse right now, but
Yeah.
lemon water, uh,
Hmm.
bitter vegetables, bitters, liver likes bitters, um, lymph. So walking, jumping,
Mm.
lymphatic stimulation helps reduce that inflammatory tendency
Okay.
that blue-eyed people can have.
That's
And
very interesting. I have very similar color eyes to her.
yeah,
Um,
mhm.
and feel like I've been trying to do more liver stuff for myself because I feel like I have symptoms of. So I've been doing like beet kvass and stuff like that. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Beets are
The kids
great.
don't
Yeah,
really like it.
yeah, that's a tough one. Milk
Yeah.
thistle, burdock root, yellow dock, those are good herbs for liver. Beets are wonderful for liver.
Hmm.
For you, doing like a lemon, celery, beet, cabbage smoothie will probably be
Oh,
awesome.
wow. Sounds delicious.
So use a hot tea as a base.
Then what a
Sinus,
smoothie.
sinus can be an issue. Achy joints can be an issue sometimes with the
Mhm.
blue-eyed people. Lymph is very
Mhm.
important, lymphatic
Okay.
stimulation. Um, we can go into more detail on iridology the next time.
Mhm.
Probably taking an omega-3 would be good.
Mhm.
Children's omega-3, E complex might be good, and a
No more.
magnesium supplement in the evening.
Sorry, you said a B complex?
A B complex, that's good for stress.
Mhm.
Children's B with some good minerals in it. Maybe you get a vitamin mineral supplement, B complex, and magnesium in the evening.
Okay.
Magnesium actually directly affects the muscles.
Would it be good for her to have I have like a magnesium spray, it's an oil.
Yeah.
Is that okay to do or is it better orally?
No, you do that. To me,
Mhm.
the best magnesium is a magnesium glycinate. I don't know what this is.
Okay.
If it's
Yeah.
not that, that's okay. It depends on, her ability to tolerate the taste and texture.
Hmm.
So that would be so that would be the
Um,
that would be the thing right now. I think you're wise to stay off the glasses. I don't think they're going to help.
yeah.
We can talk about the possibility of doing a maybe like what we call a learning lens or a developmental lens, which is a very tiny magnification,
Hmm.
maybe down.
Hmm. Yeah, like I feel I'm not 100% against them if it's necessary, but again, I like your approach of
Yeah,
little, a lot less.
yeah. Well,
Um,
you know, I can point you in some directions to do that.
mhm.
Yeah.
I just want a nibble. No.
Okay, so we're winding down to the end. I will
Mhm.
send you
Yum.
um, I'll send you
Um,
the handouts and the recording,
okay.
and you can go to it.
Okay, thank you. I had one question about, have you heard at all about castor oil on the eyes?
Well, in this particular case, I'm not sure it's the direct, like, number one thing you need to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Castor oil is good for moisturizing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Again, because of the sensitivity, I don't think I'd be applying things right now.
Okay.
It's more of a functional learning. I need to
Mm-hmm.
know how to use these guys
Yeah.
than applying something like that. I mean, for
Yeah. Okay.
yourself, if you want to experiment with it,
Yeah.
you can do castor oil packs. But
Mm-hmm.
I think what you want to do is create an environment of nurturing and loving the eyes through exercises.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's the strategy for Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
Okay.
go start putting lots of stuff on the eyes. We don't
Yeah.
want to create more stress and trauma and like, what the heck is
Yeah.
this? Right?
Yeah.
Just because you read it somewhere,
Yeah. Yeah.
what I'm giving you is will give you a direct result of what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
That's what we're after. Later on,
Okay.
we can do more of that esoteric stuff, and that's fine,
Yeah.
right? But not now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
All right. Yeah. I think that is everything. All
Okay.
my questions.
So I
So.
will, once I get the recording set up, I'll email it to you. I would download it to your computer and then you have it. I'll send you the handouts. just go for it. And then maybe let's see about talking in 4 to 8 weeks and see what the progress is.
Sounds good. Thank you
All
very
right.
much. I
You're
appreciate your
welcome.
time.
You got it.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.